Yo guys, what's up? It's Piff, and in today's video I'm actually going to be making a tutorial on how to jailbreak your PlayStation 3. Now before we actually get into the tutorial, I want to talk about a few things first. I'm going to have kind of like a table of contents on the screen right now with times that you can kind of skip to, but before we actually get into the tutorial, I just want to talk about like the pros and cons of jailbreaking your PS3, and also if your PS3 is able to be jailbroken and how you can know that or not, because the only way to actually jailbreak your PS3 is if you're on 3.55 firmware. And now no one is on 3.55 firmware unless they just haven't updated their PS3 in a while. So anyway, if you just don't want to skip all this bullshit and you're just looking to know how to jailbreak your PS3, again the times will be on the screen right now as to where to skip to for certain things. So first, I'm going to talk about how do you know if your PS3 is able to be jailbroken. Well, first off, if you have a super slim PS3, you cannot jailbreak it. The only way you're able to jailbreak your PS3 is, like I said, you need to be on 3.55 firmware. And the only two ways to do that is either one, buying a 3.55 firmware off of eBay, or B, you buy an E3 flasher, which you can then downgrade your PS3 to 2.355 firmware. But the thing with the E3 flashers is that you can only downgrade as far back as the memory is on your PS3, and by that I mean if, say, you got your PS3 when the latest update was like, say, 4.20 or something like that, you actually couldn't downgrade past that because 3.55 wasn't actually in the PS3's memory, if that makes sense. So there will be a download in the description where you can put a file on your USB, and you will be able to check to see how far back you can actually downgrade if you were actually really looking to downgrade it instead of spending another extra $100 to get a 3.55 official firmware. Another thing is that if you are looking to downgrade, an E3 flasher usually runs between $60 and I think $90, around there. Now, if you want to know more about an E3 flasher, I am really not the one to ask. I just have never used one, and I honestly don't ever see myself using one, because I recently just got a new PS3 off of eBay for about $200 that it was on 3.55 firmware. So you could go out and spend an extra $100 just to play it on the safe side. So now, some pros and cons of jailbreaking your PS3. We're going to start out with the pros, because I feel like there are more pros than cons, and the pros more or less outweigh the cons. So some of the pros are kind of obvious. I mean, you're able to mod any game out there, like any game for the PlayStation 3, you are able to modify. You are even able to play PS1 games, Super Nintendo games, Nintendo 64 games, PlayStation 2 games. You can play them all with emulators on your PS3 as long as it's jailbroken. Does not need to be backwards compatible. Another pro is that you are able to download any game for free. You can get any game for free, and you can even get games early. Like when Call of Duty Ghosts was released, I got the game a week early and I was playing it. I was playing with White Boy 7th Street when he was still relevant. You can do that. It's illegal. It's illegal and you probably shouldn't, but you're able to. There's just so many more pros than cons when it comes to jailbreaking your PS3. Now, some cons, there are some pretty big ones. The obvious one is you can get banned. It's not really that you can get banned, it is that you pretty much will be banned. The thing is when you mod games online, or you try to use homebrew apps, and that is like a package file that you would install on your PS3, you will be getting banned using those online or modding online. Eventually, it's just a matter of time till either your account gets banned or your console gets banned. Now, if your console gets banned, that can set you back a few dollars because you're going to have to buy a new console ID. But if your account gets banned, no big deal, just make a new one. But that is a really big thing about having a jailbroken PS3. When you get banned, not if, but when you get banned, you need to know how to get unbanned if you want to be playing online. But guys, there's one thing that I need to stress. Every single jailbreak that says for 4.75 or anything like that for the latest update of the PS3, you cannot jailbreak it. And 9 times out of 10, when you download the file, it will be either on a survey website, or when you download it, You might get the file and then you try to extract it from WinRAR, but then you need to do a survey to get the password. Those are 100% fake, not even close to real. The only way to truly jailbreak your PS3 is to be on 3.55 firmware. I cannot stress that enough. That is the only way to jailbreak your PS3, and honestly, I can't see a way in the future, because in the patch after 3.55, 3.56, they actually ended up patching the jailbreaking, so that's why you need to be on 3.55 firmware. Alright guys, so now once we got that out of the way, we are just now going to start the tutorial for jailbreaking your PS3. So as you can see, my PS3 is already jailbroken. This is the new one that I just recently received in the mail. I did actually record myself, or what I thought I did. I thought I recorded myself actually jailbreaking my PS3 on 3.55 firmware, but I did not. The file ended up being corrupt. I don't know what happened. It really made me, it really rattled me. But I am going to show you that I am still on 3.55 firmware, and that I still have not updated to a later version, or a newer version of a CFW, which is custom firmware. But jailbreaking your PS3 and updating it to a new custom firmware are identical. They're the exact same thing. So right now, I'm going to show you myself updating to the latest version of Rebug, which is the best custom firmware out there right now. But anyway, what you need to do then on your computer, you need to go on your computer and you need to plug in your USB. Now from here, on the root of your USB, which if you don't know, it's just your USB, you're not in any folders, you're just on your USB. You don't need to delete everything or anything. All you need to do is make a new folder and name it PS3. And inside of that folder, make another folder called update. Now inside that folder you will put the PS3 updat.pup file. I will have the downloads again in the description below. Now the one that I'm using right now is going to let me update my PS3 to a newer version, but the one that you will be downloading for actually jailbreaking your PS3 will be different than mine. I think you might just be wondering that because the size difference is pretty significant. But once you've done that, you want to make sure you go to the bottom right of your screen to that little up arrow, and you want to make sure that you safely eject your USB just so the file doesn't get corrupted while you jailbreak. So now this is another thing that I can't stress enough. When you're back on your PS3, before you actually jailbreak it, you need to make sure that there are no disks in your PS3, no disks whatsoever, and you want to make sure that you plug your USB to the farthest slot right. Like, so I know some PS3s have 4 USB slots. Plug it all the way in to the right. Plug it to the furthest one right. Or if you have 2, again, just plug it to the right one. Again, no disk, plug it to the right one. And then what you want to do is you just want to scroll over to System Update. And then you want to update it via Storage Media. And it will find the jailbreak version. For you, it would say the 3.55 KMeow. But for me, it's saying 4.75.1 Rebug, because that's what I'm updating to. But again, the process is the exact same. Now, it will come up with like a user agreement. You can read it if you want to, but it's just a load of BS, honestly. It's something that they type because they might be required to. It's just some information about it. Now, just accept it and then click yes and whatnot, and then you can be on this screen right here, copying update data to the hard disk. Now what you can do is you can just set your controller down and let it do its thing. Now that is honestly it. You will be jailbroken after this, but once your screen goes black, don't worry, everything's still fine. It's just going to be updating now. In the description, I'm going to have not only the jailbreak file, but also a file for the latest updated firmware version for Rebug, and that will let you sign online. But anyway guys, I hope this tutorial helped you. I hope I made it in-depth enough. It will be. This tutorial is a little bit longer probably than other tutorials, but I wanted to make sure I got everything in there, just because a lot of people have been asking me these questions, and I just want to lay it out there. I want to try to be as helpful and informative as I can. And if you guys have any questions, I will try my best to answer them in the comments. But also, I'm assuming some modders, because I have a lot of modders that watch my channel as well, some modders would hopefully help you out if I can't get to you, because I know I'm going to be getting a lot of comments on this video over time. But anyway, guys, again, the downloads for everything will be in the description. And if you're wondering, no, there's not going to be any surveys, none of that bullshit. It'll just be down there for you to download. Now, if the downloads end up being like removed or something for some odd reason, because I know some of my downloads have been in the past, just let me know. I'll update it, like spam the fuck out of me on Skype or Twitter or something. But again, guys, hope you enjoyed. Hope this helps you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.